Hello YouTube! It's been forever! Thank you for joining me on my channel all about Hinduism, Ayurveda, and yoga. My name is Prasiddha, otherwise known as the Kundalini Yogini. Today we are going to be talking about the normalization of alcohol in our society. I was having a really potent discussion with one of my good friends just the other day on this topic, and I was thinking to myself, I need to share about this again. I have made videos in the past about alcohol and my own experience with it, as well as my own experience being sober from it for the past 5 years. But I kind of wanted to touch on this topic because I think it's something that we don't talk about enough. Alcohol is one of the most normalized drugs in our society, in our culture. Along with caffeine, along with nicotine, it is one of the most deadly, toxic substances that exist, yet it is extremely normalized. And I just wanted to get us thinking about the implications of that, yeah? I grew up in California, in the Western culture, and drinking was not even, a second thought. From high school until, adulthood, or even, my parents' age and grandparents' age, it is something that seemingly never ends. It's really interesting in that it is inherently tied to socialization, right? We use it as an actual activity for doing something or engaging with people is literally just drinking. Going to a brewery, having a glass of wine, going to a resort that's like all inclusive where the main hobby or main activity is drinking. At many social events and parties, the only thing that's happening is drinking. And so, when you really zoom out and take a step back and begin to look at all this as an outsider, which happened to me for the first time when I stopped drinking, of course, was the first time I really evaluated and really saw clearly how much this substance is used as a filler for intimacy, as a filler for other engagement and activity, intellectual stimulation, actually thinking of something else to do, another way to bond with people, getting to know someone without the lubrication of a substance. These are all side effects, I've noticed of the normalization of alcohol. Now, I'm not, sitting here on my high horse to tell you that you're a bad person for drinking, or that it's inherently wrong. No, that's not at all my point, and I hope you don't feel that. What I am bringing to the forefront of our consciousness, though, is to actually take a look at the ways that we see alcohol, the ways that we view alcohol. If we really take a step back, what if we categorized alcohol in the same way that we do other intoxicants? If we were to use ecstasy in the same way that we use alcohol, do you think that would be okay? If we were to use even cannabis in the same way that we use alcohol, would that be accepted in the same way? If we were to use a pharmaceutical drug in the same way that we're using alcohol, think about these things, right? And I think it's really sad that we've gotten to a point where we don't question this part of our reality, because if any of you are familiar with the world of addiction, or have known somebody or love somebody who's an addict, you might resonate and know that alcohol is just as toxic and just as deadly, if not more so, because of the level to which it's normalized, right? So from a young age, as young as grade school or high school for a lot of us, we begin to utilize this substance so casually, when it has immense effects on our body, on our mind, on our brain, on our growth, on our hormones, on so many aspects of us as a being. And so I just invite you all to start just looking at how alcohol operates around you, you know, in the spheres that you're in, or in your own life, or in the life of those you love. Because I think it's something that we kind of need to look at in a sobering way, no pun intended, right? We really need to take a hard look at it as a society, because we're living in an epidemic of addiction. You know, we're living in a pandemic of mental health, and alcohol is inherently connected to both of these. You know, it's not the end all be all, but it certainly plays a role. And so I just want to start the conversation about this. I think we need to talk about it more, especially as young people. There are so many other ways to have fun. There are so many other ways to feel comfortable in your own skin that are so much healthier and more sustainable. There are so many other ways to bond with people and get to know people. There's so many other ways to socialize, you know what I mean? Like going outside, doing an actual activity, playing a game, you know, dancing, singing, making music together, creating together, cooking together. There are so many ways that we can connect to one another without the requirement of this particular substance, you know? So this video is really just to open the conversation up, you know, for all of us to really think about the role that alcohol may play in our life. And, you know, I invite you to ask, like, why? Why do I drink? When you choose to drink, what is the motivation behind it internally? To really like dig deep into that. And yeah, just to reevaluate its place in your life. That doesn't mean you have to go totally sober like me, or for everyone it'll look different, you know? But I think that it's important that we look at it, we evaluate it, because, you know, we're asked to look at so many other parts of our life, but again, because of the social norm of heavy drinking, it can become such a problem before we even realize it, you know, in our own life. So I share this with a lot of love and personal experience, and I just hope that we can get this conversation going, you know, and just, at least if we're choosing something, choosing it consciously, right, instead of unconsciously. Sending you guys so much love. Please stay connected to me on Instagram, on TikTok, much more active there these days. If you're interested in or need personal guidance, I am a spiritual coach as well as an Ayurvedic practitioner of holistic medicine. So you can book me for a one-on-one at the links below. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next video. Sending you guys so much love. And please let me know in the comments below your experience with what I'm talking about and just your thoughts and marinations on this. Love you guys. See you next time.